Good morning. The protesters of Extinction Rebellion Finland have arrived to Kouvola, southeastern Finland. There's an ongoing situation of a crane or a crane operator that we are now blocking here. The police is there. The police is not doing much. But basically, behind there, you can see UPM's biggest pulp mill here in Finland. Activists are blocking both road and rail traffic to the mill. These non-violent demonstrations aim to bring attention to UPM's activities and procedures that are increasingly questionable. They have always been problematic, but we have now come to a turning point. Thorough change must happen now. And here is why. UPM is one of the main forest giants, one of the many forest giants that makes profit from exploiting people and natural resources. Although UPM is a Finnish company, its operations are multinational. It causes major social and ecological destruction, not only in Finland, but also in Uruguay, where UPM has established huge pulp mills and expanded its monocultural eucalyptus plantations. This protest is organized in solidarity with the citizens and activists of Uruguay who are against UPM pulp colonialism in their home country. The protesters here stress that as Finns, they have a responsibility to change UPM's operations. So together with the Uruguayans, we demand the following. We have 3 demands, and the first one goes like this. We demand that UPM began fair structural change across the company's global production. The current structure is ecologically, socially, and economically harmful. We must move. There's a cyclist coming. All right. So the current structure that UPM is part of is ecologically, socially, and economically harmful and unsustainable. UPM must put an end to overproduction and overfelling because those seriously threaten our efforts in Finland to become carbon neutral and stop the biodiversity loss. This means using less water, energy, and land in Uruguay. The aim must be to produce higher value, more sustainable, and longer lasting products using less wood, energy, and other raw materials. Also, fair transition only happens through respecting workers' rights. And it is very important for those reasons to specify that this protest is directed towards UPM's management and owners and not the mill workers. And that is also why we are letting the mill workers go home from the mill. But we are only blocking freight traffic. The protesters here are on the workers' side, both in Uruguay and in Finland. We are also not demanding the forest industry to be abolished, but the way it is currently organized is extremely unsustainable. If the forest industry wishes to remain an important contributor to the Finnish economy, it must begin sustainable change now. The police have intervened and the crane is backing up. The police intervention took time. They were saying that they might come soon. For me, the city is quite dangerous. So I am one police intervenes. We are letting all cars that push like personal cars that wish to exit the exit, that the workers can go home. All right. The second demand we have is we demand UPM the ecological debt back to Uruguay and return the foreignized land back to Uruguayans. UPM has forced Uruguay to buy expensive infrastructure in order to run the pulp mills. These investments have led to an increase in Uruguayan national debt. Uruguay is losing greatly in this oppressive investment contract because UPM does not pay taxes there. Facilities are located on free trade zones. This kind of agreement would never be accepted if it were to happen in Finland. In fact, Uruguayan activists are accusing UPM of neo-colonialism because UPM exploits Uruguayan resources in order to gain profit, and it has privileges at the expense of the welfare and rights of local populations. Don't you think that local people should be able to decide over their own land and environment? UPM must also stop expanding harmful monoculture production. Uruguay is currently suffering from a water crisis, and drinking water is scarce and droughts are very common. UPM's eucalyptus plantations are very water heavy and use up the crucial water supplies. UPM's cultivations are also contaminating land and water. So, UPM must offer compensation for the problem it has boosted by its activities. Our third demand is that UPM stops its dishonest marketing and greenwashing. Major greenwashing campaigns over the claimed sustainability of UPM and its production models have saturated public and social media both in Finland and Uruguay. Because of lobbying and manipulating politics, UPM has too much power over the usage of land and forests. Its voice overpowers the one of politicians, scientists, and indigenous people. These tactics to mislead the public stop. Some examples of UPM's greenwashing might be that UPM claims to have created more carbon sinks by planting eucalyptus trees over some grassland. Why? The reality is that the monocultural plantations are actually way less sensitive in carbon sequestration. So the carbon sinks are actually shrinking. The company also says that 1/3 of lands are left pristine and unused in Uruguay. And this is to image an ecologically minded company that cares for nature. Actually, the lands are not untouched. They are contaminated by the 77 forbidden kinds of agricultural poison used UPM in their process. So these were some examples of how UPM behaves in a dishonest way and transparency. And, and this protest emphasized both to the Finnish people international audiences. UPM is selling its products around the world, claiming to provide solutions to climate crisis. Do not believe this. In reality, the company's current production model threaten vital carbon sinks and biodiversity. It has also aggressively weakened workers' negotiation power and rights in Finland, and dislocated local people and livelihoods. Why? Buy the products of production or invest in its shares until the company transforms their current operations for sustainability and justice. Activists here are gathered. UPM is not taking responsibility for the destruction and suffering causing globally. It is beyond time that UPM respecting human rights and climate goals.